Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spinner Rack, our comic-oriented show here on Master Powercast channel. Today, you're going to be covering Spider-Man number 280. Got a little something special Tyler already knows about, but we got to show it off. We gotta get him all riled up a little bit later in the show. So stay tuned for that.
As if people don't see me get pissed off enough as it is on a weekly basis. I'm gonna up Annie a little bit more here this week.
Well, just something transpired yesterday, comic book related, and it really got Tyler going. So I'm excited for that portion of the show. But
and the night just got progressively worse after that.
I pretty much
walk around town just kicking rocks and just there's a black cloud with rain just hovering over, just only on me.
Yeah, it kind of ruined his weekend a little bit. But Spider-Man 280 is something that's been on the list for quite some time now. And when I looked at the cover, because I didn't read this until a couple days ago, I looked at the cover. I'm like, that looks really cool. Actually went and read like a little bit of a synopsis. I'm like, man, there's a lot going on in this issue. I'm like, could it be confusing? So, but that's what I was thinking initially. And then once I started reading it, I'm like, well, it's not that bad. But I do have a couple of continuity notes that as we go through, I'll kind of toss out there so people get a better idea, because this is also around the time that Spider-Man has 87 books going on at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all intertwined. It's like, if you want to see what happened here, check out Web of Spider-Man issue. And I'm like, okay. It's kind of amazing looking back at it that's having that many books per character didn't kill the comic business at that point. It took a few more years, but I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier than that.
No, and really back then, for a character to have more than one book was pretty much unheard, and then let alone three regular books, and that would go on well into the 90s, and then because everyone else is getting. Avengers is getting West Coast Avengers. Wolverine's getting his own book, and then you got X-Men getting X Factor, and then you got, eventually X-Men will get just regular X-Men, not Uncanny X-Men. Then you get X-Force and New Mutants, and it's just all these kind of various. I mean, they're spinoff books, but then for characters to have multiple books, I mean, it's got to get to where Spider-Man had. Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Spider-Man Adjectiveless, and then you have a Spider-Man Unlimited, 5 books. Even though Unlimited wasn't every single month, I think it was close to quarterly. I think, or something like that. But still, a lot of books to keep up with, and if you're a devoted Marvel fan, you're trying to buy up everything you got, man. It's just more and more, and sometimes you feel like, I don't need to buy that, but they make you almost feel like you have to buy some of these to kind of get a little bit of a hint of what they're referring to. Because I don't know, as a kid, a lot of times I just I get confused a lot because I'm like, how come this is happening in this story? This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Not knowing that if you want to see the continuation of the story, you got to go pick up Spectacular Spider-Man. No one told me.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, DC was not immune to this.
No, God,
either. They were.
If anything, I felt like they were probably a little bit worse beforehand. I mean, with my little knowledge of DC, I feel like there were so many Superman books, so many Batman books, and you're jumping all over the place. You want to see, this story's going to continue, but it's going to be 3 issues later down the road. and you'll be like two other issues in between have nothing to do with the current story you're interested in.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, oh, that one story you like is here it is picking up like 2 issues later. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it wasn't like that all the time, but still, it's just like,
Yeah.
where's the logic? And why not complete the story? Like, because there'd be some Spider-Man stories that go on for, I think about like one of the Harry Osborn Green Goblin stories went on for like 5-6 issues. It's like just straight. There's no breakup in it. You want something else, you're gonna have to read one of the other Spider-Man books.
Right. I always like in reading some of the Fantastic Four ones, a story will be going, and then it's like, oh, here's an issue that's just basically a retelling of this story here, and it's completely disconnected from everything else. And I'm like, I hate when they did that. But before we dive into 280, a lot of we've gotten some comments, and people throughout the years are always like, oh, your t-shirts. Tyler and I are kind of we're kind of complimenting each other today. We both own the other shirt because this is from website Gutter Garbs. They every now and again do, well, it seems like almost every couple weeks that they do this. It's like the get it or regret it kind of thing, where it's a very small pre-order window. I think it starts on like a Thursday and ends like on a Sunday, right? So you get like 4 days to do it, but they did a Batman Returns. And I almost didn't get the Penguin one, but I'm like, well, you got to. But I do prefer the Catwoman design between the two. But they did a Mortal Kombat one, and I didn't get either of those shirts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I decided to pass on those.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, so you can be the
original
I'll one with that.
Sometime in September, early September, they're supposed to ship out. So
yeah, it's a pretty quick turnaround too.
Yeah. You're not waiting like 6 months to get this item that you're already charged for. They're pretty good about getting them out to you.
Yeah, and the shirts themselves are comfortable, and they got different options for shirts because you can get it in comfort colors as well, which I also enjoy those shirts, but I like these a lot too. But just in case anyone was wanting to ask about it, or they're like, hey, you're both wearing Batman Return shirts.
Yeah,
that's what
that Cavity Colors and
White Gold Industries, Weapon Prime.
I was gonna say, I got like 3 of them up on like that. I check frequently, and they because there's one they're doing a Jaws sale right now. They brought back all the Jaws shirts, or at least the like Jaws, like the standard one, Jaws 2 and Jaws 3 up. I think till maybe tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I might get the Jaws 2 when I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, because I'm like, I got my Jaws one, to like, just because it's Jaws and it's a nice shirt, and I'm like, I really want Jaws 2. Like, I need to get that. If they'd have bought Jaws of Revenge, I'd have been all over that immediately without question.
Well, we need to get some more love for Jaws of Revenge. But speaking of Jaws, we have a story regarding that. We'll tell that later at the tail end of the show.
Stick around, people.
Yes, I kind of like I feel like yesterday kind of kickstarted how the rest of your day went, but we'll get to that.
I didn't lose sleep or anything like that. I made peace with it, but it was just like, believe me, what happened at the movie was far worse than seeing my best friend get a very important key issue of Spider-Man.
Hey, man,
I would much rather see Nathan get all these great key issues because I know they're going to a good home. He loves them too, as opposed to some asshole who's just like, I don't even know what it is. I think it's worth like a lot of money. So I'm gonna flip for like $5,000.
There you
go. Assholes, fucking scalpers.
But here's our cover for Amazing Spider-Man 280. Feel the wrath of the Sinister Syndicate. That is a pretty good name.
Yeah,
that's a cool name. So Tyler, who do we got here going from left to right?
We have got pretty much a roster of, some might call them C-list villains, D-list villains. I would call them relative like B villains. Spider-Man's got, next to Batman, the best roster that's been discussed ad nauseum.
Yeah.
But he's also got a great roster of like below A-list villains. And depending on your point of view, I hold the Beetle in very high regard. I always have. I just thought he was a great looking character. I personally love the Rhino. And this is, we've got Hydro Man, Boomerang, Rhino, Beetle, and Speed Demon. And this would be a group that would be used more than once. The Sinister Syndicate would come back in the Lethal Foes of Spider-Man miniseries, and then the Lethal Foes of Spider-Man miniseries in the 90s. And I had three of the 4 issues of that last one in the 90s. I don't remember what the story was about. It was more about just seeing all these awesome villains that Spider-Man's got to take on at the same time. for to stop them after a MacGuffin or something. I can't remember what it was. But the Lethal Foes is an interesting story because the Kingpin hires him that time. But
Yeah.
it's a group that is never celebrated. Nothing like the Sinister Six or even the Masters of Evil, because that's always like a different interpretation. Like this group has this guy and this guy and this girl in it, but this is a group that just never gets talked about. It's never represented. You don't see a lot of fan art for this group. But I was thrilled to death. I picked the reprint up in Marvel Tales at I think at a Rite Aid drugstore back in the early '90s, and I was like, oh, I was blown away. But I just thought this was like another faction of villains teaming up to fight Spider-Man. Like that's all I cared about. I didn't care about anything else that the story was connected to. I just wanted to see Spider-Man take on this Sinister Syndicate led by the Beetle. Like I just thought this fucking rocked, and then to see this cover was in the back of the comic to let you know what the original cover looked like.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh my God, like this is, it made me feel like I had like a really special, like old issue, not knowing it was just maybe less than 10 years old. It wasn't, but it was awesome to me.
And also guest starring the sensational Silver Sable, our international bounty hunter. Tyler, tell me some more about Silver Sable.
She's a character I've never been that too interested in. I mean, she's linked to Spider-Man on multiple ways and things like that. And I think she believed her own crew called the Wild Pack that Sandman would join. And she's just kind of she's there. She's an attractive woman who uses guns, and she's it's kind of like Black Widow. Just she's human, but she's a very I'm just losing my train of thought here in terms of like she knows how to kick ass with guns in her bare hands. I'll just put it that way.
September 1986 is when this came out. Well, it's when it's dated here. Probably would have hit newsstands a little bit earlier than that, but we are 2 years old. So
yeah, I'm not even sure if I was even aware who Spider-Man was up until probably 87.
Yeah, so. It would have been like 87, 88 easily. So as I mentioned earlier, I read the synopsis of this book. And I'm like, man, there's a lot going on, and they kind of like make a point here in the opening page. The time, now, the place, Coney Island Park, which anytime you have a battle taking place in an amusement park, always going to be a good time. The object murder.
Absolutely. I mean, you see people like, Daredevil has had his battles in amusement parks. I feel like so many superheroes have had some sort of showdown in an amusement park. There's so many. It's like one giant playground for the heroes and villains to play on, and just from fighting on roller coasters to carousels and fun houses and things like that. There's a lot of playtime in this place. So many different scenarios you can have and battles taking place in an amusement park. It's always a welcomed addition to battle sequences in comics.
And it says here, confused, faithful reader, don't be. Just turn this pulsating page and all will soon be explained. So that kind of, I was like, all right, I know it's not going to be that daunting and overwhelming with everything that's going on. But Tyler, who we got working on this particular book?
Tom DeFalco, who was a very prominent writer on Spider-Man in the 80s, and Ron Friends was another like very excuse me. He's a very wonderful Spider-Man artist. He was on it, I don't know for how long, but a lot of the books he did they're all very well done. Like another like unsung Spider-Man artist. Like I love his artwork as well. Brett Breeding on the pencils and inks, Joe Rosen on lettering, Paul J. Becton on the coloring, Jim Owsley's editor, and may he rest in peace, Jim Shooter is the editor-in-chief at the time.
We will get into this as we go along. Of course, you see the black suit here, so we're kind of in the midst. I can kind of read one of the notes that we have here. It's going to be explained with Spider-Man remarking that he was absent from Manhattan, so it turns out he was in Virginia, and it resulted, the events there resulted in his red and blue costume being destroyed, in which Spider-Man will wear this costume, a cloth version made by Black Cat and Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 99, until Mary Jane insists that he stop wearing it after she is attacked by Venom in Amazing Spider-Man number 300.
There you go.
So we get 20 more issues after this. He's going to be wearing this costume.
Yeah. which is always enjoyable to see because it just looks so damn slick.
Yeah. So here we are. Kicking it right off in the midst of battle here at the park. Having the conversations here because it's gonna basically, like, she's hired Spider-Man for this particular job. We don't know that yet, but we're getting to the point, and
And what we're seeing here is that she is the alpha of her group. She is like the top of her league, and for Spider-Man to immediately grab her and assume that she couldn't handle that, it kind of makes her feel like, hey, look, I can handle myself. He's like, all right, you know what? You want to do your own thing? Fine. And then she realized, like, okay, he's a lot more useful outside of just like a hired guy to help me take down Jack-O-Lantern. Like, there's, she needs his help, especially when she realizes that the scenario they're in is one big trap. She was showing up with Spider-Man to confront Jack-O-Lantern, not the Sinister Syndicate. So it throws off her entire game plan.
I don't know a lot about Speed Demon, but safe to say just kind of comparable to the Flash, but not as fast.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, he's just I guess you could, some people say probably just a throwaway, speed villain, because Marvel doesn't have a villain that runs really fast. You got Quicksilver, he's kind of pretty much the neighborhood, fast guy or Flash-like character. Then to have, a character called Speed Demon, like, yeah, it makes sense. You can have more than one character that runs really fast.
Yeah,
or like that. That's their MO.
So we're getting some banter here between Spider-Man and Speed Demon. Also, Beetle still lingering around. At that point, too, I kind of like how it bounces back and forth. So we have a couple of them teaming up. It's like, oh, we're razzing with this. It's like, oh, yeah, shit, I forgot about Hydro Man over here.
And that panel of him being uppercut punch in the air by Hydro Man is just such a very dynamic, like that. You could just hear the impact of that water fist.
Yeah,
knocking the fuck out of him. Is like Beetle's like kind of like observing, in the air, and Spider-Man just crashes into the garbage and is getting ready to get pounded again by Hydro Man. It's a great sequence of like, and it does what the Sinister Six did not do their first round, which was attack Spider-Man at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the whole like, okay, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Like, no, we're going after him all at once. Like, yeah, there's the challenge.
The logic in that is kind of dumb. But Spider-Man remarking here, the Beetle, the Rhino, Boomerang, Speed Demon, and now Hydro Man. What is this, Old Villains Week?
Yeah, which is what you'd expect Spider-Man to say. Like all these kind of villains that fought in the past just showing up out of the woodwork. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
because up to this point, there's never been a massive team up all at once. I mean, the Sinister Six, yeah, they're the most celebrated, but again, it wouldn't be until the 90s when they come back and they are attacking at once. Like they're a full unit.
Right. Spider-Man remarking here, how did I ever get involved in a mess like this? And that will then lead us to how we get involved into a mess like this. So they make a point to put in the book, as if in answer to his silent query, Spider-Man quickly reflects on the events which led him here, events which began a few hours ago. And this is when we get the dialogue. It's great to be back home. Even though my old Reddit costume is gone for good, we mentioned before he was on this. So it says, see Web of Spider-Man 16 through 18, as I mentioned. So I was like, okay. At that point, when you're reading this issue, especially now with the Marvel Unlimited app, do you find yourself when you see a blurb like that, you make a mental note? I would kind of like to go. Yeah, so you go and read these most of the time.
A lot of times, I will, and then sometimes you realize, what, I didn't need to read any of that. And other times, like, what, okay, that was good for context.
Yeah,
and add a little bit more. And I mean, it's pretty much just a gimmick to get you to go and pick up the other books. But when you have the Unlimited app, it's nice to be able to have most of the books. Which I've never understood why they still won't,
especially some of the stuff from like the 90s. There's a lot of stuff that it's just like patches of it in there.
Yeah, and a lot of it, there's a lot of Spider-Man books that are missing. Like, not all the amazing, spectacular Web and Spider-Man books like were great. You got a lot of duds in there too, but a lot of good ones. And sometimes it'd be nice to be able to read all of them if you wanted to, or pick up the epilogue after one particular story arc in Spectacular Spider-Man or in Web, and hell, you can't even read a complete run of Ghost Rider. You know, the 1990 Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
You can't read all that on Marvel.
That was kind of the biggest example for me, because I was like, because the 90s Ghost Rider was one of those books, because my dad really liked Ghost Rider. Those were ones that we were getting. So I'm like, I want to read them. And it starts off really great. And that's something that I would like to cover down the road on the Spinner Rack is I think we kind of had the idea of comparing the
origins of Dan Ketch and Johnny Blaze.
Yeah. But just going on that app, I'm like, there's only, I think at the time, I think there were only like 20 some issues, but it would go from like 1 to 24. And then you would just get like 33. And then here's 50 something. I'm like, what? But they've added, I think they've added a few more since then to fill in the holes. I need to go back and look, but I need to get back into that, because I was really digging that run of Ghost Rider. But Spider-Man here, it's like, oh, let's check out what's going on in the Daily Bugle. And then attention, Spider-Man, Silver Sable wants you. And it's kind of, I don't know. It's just funny, I guess, to think about now. It's like, yeah, that's how they people would have got each other's attention like that. Put a ad in the newspaper.
Yeah, because if you had enough money, you could go on TV if you wanted to. But a newspaper ad was pretty much the most sensible way to go about it, and she could afford to buy a lot of space in the Daily Bugle to make sure that Spider-Man got that advertisement.
Spider-Man wondering, what could she possibly want with me? And if you read the previous issue, which I did not, you'll know exactly what she wants. You read the issue prior to that, right? So
the artwork is very forgettable, and it's really just like, you feel like, man, you're picking up Amazing Spider-Man. You should be seeing nothing but the top tier artwork, and it's like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah, I love this bit. As Spider-Man's wondering what Silver Sable wants from me, we cut to Silver Sable, and she's wanting to get some. Pretty much,
she's selling her body right now, or at least she's putting the seduction on. I'll just put it that way with this gentleman here who is looking to work his charms on her as well. Which if Spider-Man hadn't showed up, I'm sure he would have been enjoying the fruits of Silver Sable.
Yeah. So Hamed here is putting the moves on, and of course Spider-Man drops down. Silver Sable's, I heard you were looking for me, and then just his face here too, because one, he's surprised, but then also the bit of dialogue that Sable says here, I'm afraid we'll have to postpone our little interlude, Hamed. Please have my secretary check my appointment calendar on your way out. He's like, don't be difficult. You know that I never allow pleasure precedence over business. I was like, man.
So I'd be kind of pissed off too when you're being told, like, oh my God.
Hamed was going to get a crack at it,
He was, and now he's got to postpone.
Yeah.
But at least he's saying, hey, we'll just make a note and make an appointment, and we'll make sure we get back to that. So I was like, you know what? At least she's wanting to make sure, not today, but you will get some down the road.
Yeah. So he's just gotta leave, go home, buck the sleeve of his favorite jacket. What?
Yeah. After he does some push-ups.
Yeah. But yeah, Sable saying here, you're going to help me apprehend a most dangerous international terrorist, a gentleman by the name of Jack-O-Lantern. So I was like, all right, Jack-O-Lantern's in this. And then that's kind of got its whole underlying arc going on as well. So as we go through this, farewell, Hamed, perhaps next time. So she was, I know that some of it for her is obviously putting herself in a position, being an international bounty hunter, that it's in ways to get information and everything. Yeah. But at the same time, too, she really seems to take pleasure in the pleasures,
Well, when she's in that position, she's a woman of power. Why can't she take time to enjoy some personal needs herself?
Absolutely.
And get some business pointers, like some connections, some ideas, or like get him to spill his beans on anything particular while having a good time. So
yeah. Spider-Man here in the midst of this, having a little snack.
He's having some finger foods, some finger sandwiches.
He was like, she doesn't realize that I recently decided to give up being Spider-Man, which we have here. Spider-Man thinks about how he's decided to give up being Spider-Man. He made the decision in 275, as they see here, and seeing that issue after coming to the conclusion that being Spider-Man has done nothing but hurt those he cares about. So one of those things that we've seen a lot over the years is just that balancing of wanting to give it up, being pulled back in. It's at some point he's got to realize like it's never going to happen. But
yeah.
You got to be Spider-Man forever.
I feel like I can't say that other superheroes make it balanced because, you know, people like Captain America, the Fantastic Four, you know, the X-Men, like they've all got to drop things in their personal lives to, you know, go for the greater good, whether it's stopping Juggernaut, the Red Skull, or just some hoodlums that are, you know, mobbing a newsstand. You're in the middle of a date with an attractive woman. You're like, fuck. Yeah. Now you got to go change in the alleyway and go beat the shit out of these two guys and hope your girlfriend your date understands at the moment.
Yeah, and the fact that you have to like keep that from everybody, so it's not putting them as in much peril, but then it's like when you do, and then they are, and then there's a bit of a mental struggle there.
Yeah, but that's what makes the superhero mythology so important. Why it's so important to maintain, you know, that secret identity. There's a purpose to it. It's not just, you know, treating everyone like they're stupid. Like there's reasons behind it. There's logic. It's its own mythology about why a superhero has to maintain a secret identity. And people, and it's without going on a rant, I hate that the movies just seem to be so dismissive. Like, you know what? I don't buy into that secret identity bullshit. Where he's gonna be walk around. He's going to go buy milk and eggs and bread with no mask on. He's wearing his full outfit because I want my face shown. It's just like, oh, shut up.
Sable, I'm gonna pay you a substantial fee in cash, and they have this conversation. Spider-Man is like, lady, I don't do it for the money. I do it, and he's like, I do it for you know what? Never mind. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
This is when we then turn to Flash Thompson, who's being held in jail for reasons that will be explained pretty quickly. People are convinced that he's Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
So he's saying here some lunatic tried to kill him a few days ago. See issue 278. So saying my lawyer needs your testimony to tell. You have to tell them that I was here so people don't believe that I'm the Hobgoblin. But the back end of that is he's been cheating
with Betty Brant, who is now at the moment the wife of Ned Leeds, co-worker of Peter Parker. Well, they're both co-workers of Peter Parker, but Shashan was a woman he met after Vietnam, and she's pretty much devastated that, you know, the fact that he cheated on her, like that's pretty much one and done.
Yeah.
Which is hard for anybody to just up and forget, you know. So what if I had a few indiscretions, but I always get the house cleaned. You know?
Yeah. And it gets pretty cold right here when it's like, time's up, Thompson. You have another visitor, and it's like, Miss Leeds, you're next. It's like, oh, shit. Like,
yeah, this is not working too well in Flash's favor here.
Yeah. And, of course,
that moment of silence that just then, you know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the anger that she is withholding looking at Betty right there. You know, and Betty's having her issues too, but, you know, she's a married woman. Well, yeah. You know, and you're gallivanting around with another man. Like it's hard to look at her and feel like, you know.
And poor Sharon Banks here just being like, oh, great. Why did Betty Leeds have to show up now?
Yeah, she's like, just having to observe all this shit going down, even though no fights are breaking out. It's just the tension of like, oh my God, like, can this get any more awkward and uncomfortable?
And Shaw here saying he's going to get exactly what he deserves. Hope they throw away the key. It's like, shit, that sucks. Of course, Peter shows up. Oh, hey, how's everything shaping up? It's like, oh, you want the truth?
With his Martin McFly life jacket there.
Yeah, it's an interesting fashion choice.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
it's almost
like it's Back to the Future inspired.
Yeah, but also if you take away the red here and the vest, if the vest blend in a little bit better, he kind of looks like the Question if you threw a hat on him.
Yeah, he would.
But yeah, I can't even get his ex-girlfriend to vouch for him, and she was living with him during the time when he was allegedly the Hobgoblin. So that's pretty much a bummer. I like this panel here as they're talking.
Yeah.
Flash could really use a guardian angel right now, a rich one, and of course he's like,
And you
maybe I
get that
should do
moment
this
where,
for the money.
it's always a great use of that, of Peter Parker thinking in Spider-Man mode. Like that always signifies like, all right, he's getting ready to see some. We're getting ready to see some more Spidey action here. Like he's ready to come to the aid of his buddy.
What did you think of the action figure? That is pretty much.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, and I almost felt like that's something that didn't need to be made into an action figure, because it is just such a. It works better in the comics or in animation when you do a quick flash, like in the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series, like that quick little flash on his face.
Yeah.
We know what it means because it's a reference to the comic books, but in action, it doesn't translate as well as an action figure, I don't think.
Yeah, I think the only real use and purpose for it is if you're going to make like a pretty cool ass diorama where you're using multiple figures and you kind of have him like front and center, where it's the duality.
That would make
kind
sense.
of thing.
Yeah.
Peter saying, yeah, I may as well face facts, kind of hang up my webs while Flash still needs me. I don't know if he's really the Hobgoblin or not. I don't even care. He's my friend, and I've got to do whatever's necessary to help him. So, much like,
which is always fun to think about, like the past that him and Flash have, where Flash was Spider-Man's biggest supporter, but Peter Parker's biggest bully. Like I love that dynamic, that the guy that just would give him the most turmoil all through school was his alter egos, just like would defend him to the death in the public's eye. Like he couldn't stand if anybody was knocking Spider-Man. Like, no, it ain't true. Like he's not a criminal. Like, but just couldn't wait to just call him puny Parker and embarrass him in front of people. And it's a fun dynamic.
Going back to the Betty Leeds affair, there's multiple references that happen here in the story. Peter himself discovers it in Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, issues 109 and 110. Also with Flash, he was framed for the crimes of Hobgoblin and Spider-Man 276, and he mentions how he's almost killed because of it. He was targeted by the Scourge of the Underworld in Spider-Man 278, although he was saved by Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's like, yeah, you know what? I got some good use for the money. Say, well, obviously, why else would I want you to go along? We'll just have to be especially careful, won't we? Ooh.
And they're wanting to know, like, well, how do you know where he's at? He's like, because he called and told me. He's like,
yeah.
You know it's a trap? He's like, oh, of course I know it's a trap. That's why you're coming along with me. But and something too is, and I never quite got it, and maybe I just have overlooked a few things, but it's like they really wanted to push Jack, and I love the character. I think the character is a great visual. I love his just the use of the character as like this mercenary, or someone who worked in special forces and then becomes a man for hire essentially, or just decides to kind of become his own crime boss in a roundabout way. But he's never really developed into this major player in terms of like right here, like knowing that he is the guy that assembled the Sinister Syndicate. And if you read some of his earlier appearances, he's not really that all threatening. Like he shows up in issue 19, I think, of Machine Man, and he's trying to stage this kind of big robbery, and that's foiled by Machine Man, and then he's taken to the hospital, and his guys try to break him out, and a big fight ensues. And that's when Spider-Man shows up and fights him for the first time, and he's just not quite depicted as someone who is all that threatening in terms of like, okay, this guy's gonna be a major player going forward. And I don't know if it just was like Marvel or the writers just didn't push him far enough to, because he gets involved in the gang war that happens right before the big reveal of the Hobgoblin, which was a big botch in itself. Like he's wanting to kind of be hired as like one of the top tier like enforcers, for I think he's working for he's trying to get him with the Kingpin, and also with the Rose, who's the Kingpin's son, and you got Hammerhead involved as well. And it's just I guess he just never quite reached the potential I think that they were aiming for with the character.
Do you think it's just because visually and everything it's kind of too similar to Hobgoblin and Green Goblin that they decided to maybe pull back the reins a little bit on him?
I guess so, because he works fine as like a gun for hire, like because later on, like the second guy to take on the Jack London mantle would end up tag team with Blackwing and working for the Red Skull as part of the Skeleton Crew, which was that was my first introduction to the character, was that. And I thought he was such a cool visual, like this guy with this flaming pumpkin on his head and on this flying pogo. Like some people might think it's kind of goofy looking, but I just thought he was quite striking. If you draw some of the goofiest characters with a lot more a lot, as I've always said, like some of the best He-Man, some of the silliest characters in He-Man, people may say, if you get someone who really knows how to draw, you can make any goof look like the biggest badass in the world. And
Yeah.
I always thought Jack-o'-lantern was drawn pretty strongly, at least in most Spider-Man, and certainly in Captain America as well.
Was there obviously, because we're at the sort of the beginnings of this, of who is the Hobgoblin? Was there a big, like, obviously they botched it and it ended up being disappointing, but the build up to it, was there a lot of hype surrounding that at all? Or
the hype, they hyped it up for years, and they kept. It's like they really, and there's stories about it. You can look them up on YouTube, but the people in charge were flip flopping what they wanted to do, and the character who it ends up being, Roderick Kingsley, you see in the same presence as the guy covered in darkness that he's talking to. So you're led to believe it's not Roderick Kingsley, it's somebody else, and you clearly see Roderick Kingsley in the presence of a man in shadow. Yeah. And you're like, and then when it's revealed that it's Roderick Kingsley, you're like, what? And it's. The idea of a framing Flash and just prolonging it, like, that's a great idea, but they it clearly, I don't know. I think writing it at the time, they just didn't have any idea at the time. And, I think it got to where it's nut cutting time. We had to have an answer for this. Just say it's Roger, who cares? And it just kills that momentum of, like, all these years. Like, who the hell is this guy?
I mean, that's kind of the type of shit that would make someone just stop reading the book.
Yeah, and it pissed off a lot of people. And I can't remember who it was who was directly responsible for saying just make it Roderick Kingsley, even they've already established that it's not him.
Yeah,
and it's just a lazy way of wrapping it up.
Yeah, it's kind of like the higher power being Vince, right? It's,
pretty much, like, it doesn't have to make sense. It's a comic book. It's for kids,
Yeah.
And
oddly enough, son of a bitch.
And then eventually, Jason Macendale, who is the Jack-o'-lantern, would become the second Hobgoblin.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
So what we have here is Tyler explained. Jack-o'-lantern is not there. He's sent the Sinister Syndicate, which I use this for the thumbnail because I really like this.
It's a badass panel.
Yeah.
And it's a great name. I love the Sinister Syndicate. Like, that's a name that could be, again, brought back like the Masters of Evil and the Sinister Six, where you have a couple of the key players, but you bring in some new members and just freshen it up a little bit. And
absolutely,
but unfortunately, and maybe it was in later years, but of course, we all know I don't read the modern shit because I'm tired of being disappointed all the damn time.
Yeah, so maybe there is a new iteration of the Syndicate out there in comics today. Yeah. But this is also another great shot too. Really like the Beetle.
I was always big on that panel because I loved how imposing the Beetle looked. Like, he's in command of it. I love Speed Demon's just smiling like he can't wait to get in the action.
Yeah.
Rhino's ready to kick some ass. Hydra Man's very focused, and Boomerang is just calm and easy. Like, he's ready to go into assassin mode here.
Yep. So Beetle and Boomerang will take the girl. The others can enjoy the wall crawler's company. So the whole thing too is like, no, don't run. Never thought she'd panic like that. And then she's also just like, what's wrong with Spider-Man? Doesn't he realize that strategy dictates that we divide our foes?
Yeah. He's also making that kind of, male assumption that she's a woman in distress and she's running for the, but like, no, she's the best at what she does for a reason. So she's trying to find cover and put together, which, she's going up against people she's never fought before. So the Beetle is wearing an enhanced armor, which is why he's battled Iron Man for a while as well. So he is a very formidable foe, and not just someone that's just easily even though he's treated often as like a D-list villain. Like, nah, I think there's more to the character than that, personally.
Get a good shot here. Speed Demon.
That's a great panel there. So you can just hear the thump, 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 like just constant landing punch after punch after punch. And down here, when he's like, okay, I just timed this right, and that confident, like, just outstretched arm and just tripping the fuck out of Speed Demon. He goes flying. Like, I just love that. And then selling it after Speed Demon's crashed, I was like, oh my God, I almost broke my damn arm.
Yeah. Also, too, when Rhino attacks, it's not mentioned here. I think it might be mentioned later. It's like, oh, hey, I like your new
Yeah,
costume.
yeah. He's wearing extra armor on his already impenetrable Rhino hide that's attached to his body.
While the fight's going on elsewhere, everything is going according to plan. While the Sinister Syndicate battles Spider-Man and that woman in my place, I am free to scour up my new business. Silver Sable should have known better than to match wits with Jack-O-Lantern. So he's just having him a
Yeah,
good old time.
he's savoring the fruits of his labor. Like I'm taking out my enemies, and he's planning a big future for himself. As we turn to Betty is returning home and seeing her husband. He's getting the hell out of there.
Yeah. It's like, Ned, what are you doing? I've had enough. Tired of waiting around while you decide between me and that criminal Flash Thompson. The man's in jail and you still can't make up your mind. It's like, Ned, wait. And it's like, much more than it obviously means to you. Can you honestly say that I am the man you love? And then once again, we get another one of those silent panels where she's not saying anything. It's like, yep, didn't think so. And then he fucking takes off. I was like, all right, yeah, I mean, justifiably so. Come on.
Yeah, he's got a reason to get the hell out of there, and it shows like where her heart really is, and it sucks. Like you can sympathize as many, like we've all gone through that. That feeling of like, oh my god, like the woman you care about is pretty much saying like, nah. And you're like, I care about you a lot, but and you're like, oh well, fuck off.
Well, it's just the way that she says it. I love you, Ned. I really do. Maybe I just don't love you enough.
Yeah, like that. And that's like, you know what? It's a good thing he didn't hear it, because he probably would have attacked her on the street for that.
Yep. Just then, a few blocks away from Coney Island Park, we're just here randomly. This family. I'm gonna go hang out with friends. But if you kind of pay attention in the background here,
like, see a very familiar striped sweaters in the back there.
It's like, huh, that looks familiar. Can I help with the dishes? Can we just talk about this? I love the way these hairstyles have been.
Me too. And I'm like, I don't ever want them to change the striped shirt, the striped hair. That's why I never was a fan when he got his new outfit when he took on the Fantastic Four and the Hulk. I never was a fan of that. Never. When I first saw it, I was like, that's not the Sandman. I thought it was a completely made up character. Like, I had no idea as a child that was actually the same Flint Marko, William Baker, Sandman. Like, this is bullshit. Like, I want my classic Sandman.
Yeah, but Sandman is a tenant here, and he's deciding he's going to go take a walk. Of course, we get a little blurb. We were lucky, Rosa. Most tenants aren't as polite and well behaved as ... Sylvester, man, never thought I'd end up in the suburbs. Things been a whole lot quieter for me ever since I stopped stomping around the country as the Sandman. So the little blurb that I had here, Sandman decided to go straight in Marvel 2-in-1 number 86 after a traumatic experience of being merged with Hydro Man in Amazing Spider-Man 217 and 218. Yeah,
they have a clash. It's been a while since I've read that. I think the first part was better than the second part, if I remember correctly. But and it's something I want to address too. Like I'm all for an occasional villain turning good, but not a bunch. And this was well established like back then, and he would stay a good guy for a while. Like he was forced to join the Sinister Six against his will, because Dr. Octopus threatened the family that he's been living with. So he goes along with it begrudgingly, but you still know he's a good guy. And I don't mind that, because it wasn't like all of Spider-Man's rogues were just like, okay, well, I've been a bad guy for a while. Not time for me to, join up with the Avengers. And it's he's one of the few. I was like, that was pretty cool that he was a legitimate bad guy for a good while, fought other people for a while, and then he decided, you know what, I'm turning over, and they maintained that for a while. And I always thought that was pretty creative.
Yeah, and also doing it in a way that it's not like too sympathetic.
Yeah, it's not like or the Spider-Man 3 amongst all the other fuck ups that was in that movie. That's another one where it's just like, ugh, like, why does it always have to be that the villain has got family he's struggling for? Why can't you just be, you know what? He just wakes up one day and realizes, you know what, this is wrong. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't feel right mugging total strangers and taking things from these people. You know what? I could be doing so much better with my powers.
Yeah. Boomerang taking on Sable here. I like this little panel shot too.
Yeah,
She's turning
that's
aside,
a
shooting
cool
her gun.
panel shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
just all the onslaught of firepower coming at her, and she's dishing it right back out.
But I love Beetle saying your reflexes are quite impressive. Your weaponry is not.
Yeah, and I think I remember trying to draw that particular panel of Beetle once as a kid because I just loved that, and maybe it was from the Mark Bagley trading card because it's a very similar pose. But I just think that look at the Beetle is the best, because he's had a couple of variations in his outfit, but that by far is the most definitive look at the Beetle. I just love that purple and the emerald green. It just looks so menacing to me.
Marvel Legends.
I own it.
I'm like, I haven't bought a Marvel Legend.
I was waiting for Nathan to tell me, like, well, I bought Hydra Man, I bought Speed Demon,
no,
I bought the Beetle, and I bought Boomerang. They don't have the classic Boomerang. They have the latter years Boomerang with like the kind of dark blue or like black and white. I'm like, that's not Boomerang. I don't know why they don't release the classic colors.
I haven't looked for them yet. I will. But I've bought some other things, and I'll talk about that at the end of the show. It kind of ties back into stuff from last week that you and I don't know if we talked about on the show. I think we talked about it like in through text message. I love here that we know that they're at Coney Island, but we've only gotten like little hints of it. So you've seen like some pinball machines, you see like a little admission gate, you see like a carousel. So I kind of like, and they probably weren't meaning to do it this way, but I like how the setting is kind of gradually building up to like
it's contained at first before it really starts to spread out, because you don't want to just assume like, okay, we're going to go right towards the Ferris wheel, we're going to go right towards the roller coaster,
Here's the panel. Rhino's battling Spider-Man, and Spider-Man makes a point to say, like, hey, I like your new duds. Did your mommy pick them out for you? And he's like, don't make fun of me. Which sucks. Like, he hates what he is. So yeah.
And that's something that's the character. Like he's strictly doing things, as you will see if you read the Lethal Foes of Spider-Man. Like, he's doing the job for the money to pay for the operation to get him out of that bodysuit. Like, it's a means to an end, like being a criminal.
That sucks though. Did they ever? Because in that scenario, I mean, maybe you probably won't want to go that far. Like, obviously they kind of did with Craven in terms of him like taking his own life. Could you, in a way, maybe work it in a darker story where Rhino just reaches the point where he just doesn't want to live anymore because he's tired of being in the suit, and you could go that route, or is that too much, you think?
I'd say not live anymore, but really get into his head, like why being this human battering ram that can go toe to toe with the Hulk and amongst many other superheroes, just like, you know what, I'm tired of living like this. Like, you could really break it down and get into his mind, like what a day in the life of the Rhino would be like. The fact that you can't take your shirt off and enjoy an ocean breeze. You can't, often, don't go into the things about how he uses the bathroom, because it's like just one of the things that in comic books you just really don't discuss how the Thing takes a shit.
Now we're getting into Brody territory, which I actually watched Mallrats.
I did too. I watched it earlier this week too. Yeah, because before you brought it, that was the movie I'd just kind of noodling about for a while, and then you watched like, by God, I'm gonna watch it too. So
yeah, and God, man, did you feel the same way when you watched it? You're just like, yeah, I'm right back here to like early 2000s, and you and I are just like quoting it or like watching it on my compact computer.
It brings me back to an incredible time of 11th grade. Even though I hated school with a passion, like that movie brought me so much joy. And then sharing that movie with you and having like, when I'm watching that as a kid, as a teenager, like watching Brody talk, even though I was not that knowledgeable, I related to him because of his passion for comics and the characters. But then TS was open about women, so I was a combination of both the characters there. Yeah. So it was very, very relatable, and just knowing like it was intensely comforting watching Mallrats at that time. I could put on Mallrats anytime and just feel like it's like a warm blanket you're very familiar with. It's like watching Escape from LA or Big Trouble in Little China. You just feel completely at home when you put on Mallrats. And remember, there was a time when Kevin Smith's name actually was enjoyable to hear and see him on screen. And
I still look back fondly at all that, but because the way that I watch Mallrats, oddly enough, was on the Criterion channel.
Oh, okay.
Because I subbed up to that, and they do a lot of these things where they have like little subgenre groupings of films that they upload for the month, and Mallrats was a part of this one that was like 90s soundtracks or something. It was like Mallrats, Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater.
Oh yeah, Christian Slater.
Yeah, Grosse Point Blank, and there were a few others, but I saw Mallrats on there, and I was like, man, I haven't watched this in so long, and I put it on, and just, I haven't felt that way in a while, really. And oddly enough, saying that because you and I went and saw 1990 Ninja Turtles, and I like felt that a little bit. Yeah. It was there, but when I put on Mallrats the other night, I guess maybe it's just because of the day that I had and winding down and everything. But sitting down and watching that, I really got, it was just that warm, fuzzy feeling that rushed over me because it really took me back to just certain parts. And I was sitting there like quoting the movie and thinking about all the different things. But it's funny how we kind of tie that into just the conversation here about Rhino. You're like, I don't want to think about how he takes his shit, but Brody would have, and he would have asked Stan Lee about it.
Yeah, and too, like, and this is what some comic book readers kill it. It's like they try to make it funny because they're talking about shit and pissing. It's like, what, you can address this stuff in a sensible and almost serious manner and not treat it as if like it's just kiddie potty humor and bullshit like that. Yeah. Like, no, how would he go to the bathroom? How does the thing? Does the thing need to do anything? Like, is his body completely internalized? Like he says, is his body maybe even his dick? And Stan Lee says, like, we just don't go in. Which what? It's not important to the story. It's not important to the character.
No, but also on the flip side of that, if the Rhino is sitting here doing these criminal activities so he can save up the money to have the surgery, wouldn't it logically kind of make more sense that you would want to maybe pal up with like a Mr. Fantastic or someone that's super intelligent that they could find a way to get you out of the suit too? It seems like that would be a better way to go about it.
That would make. I know there's a story in the 90s too where he is used as a pawn in a Kazar story, and he has to tangle with Kazar and his girlfriend Shauna the She-Devil in the city. But then they pretty much like they team up with him because they realize he's being used and he's kind of being manipulated about his situation and things like that. It would be interesting to think, or like a scenario that painted where the Rhino walks into the Baxter Building and everyone just, oh my gosh, the Rhino, what the hell's the Rhino doing here? And they immediately would assume, they all would assume he's there to start shit. It's like, no, it would make sense and make an interesting story for him to walk right in there and say, I'd like to speak to Reed Richards. He's not doing anything, but they immediately jump to the conclusion that this is a guy that's taken on the Hulk, Spider-Man, God knows everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be here if you weren't trying to cause chaos and threaten to rob the building or put us in a position where we have no choice but to fight? No, I just want if you can help me. That would make a very interesting story.
Yeah, I take it, Marvel, run with it.
Not today. They'd fuck it up and probably somebody can't draw worth a fuck.
This is a very unexpected and pleasant surprise. Now we cut to the Kingpin, and having a conversation here with Jack-O-Lantern, and it's like, your resume is quite impressive. Unfortunately, I recently hired someone with similar expertise, a gentleman called Nuke. So Nuke shows up in, as you see here, Daredevil, and this transpires
during the Born Again storyline.
Yep, 232, 233. So you get some that. Which go read those Daredevil books.
Yeah, just take our word for it. If you haven't read it,
if you haven't read it. Yeah, go.
That's one of the best Daredevil storylines of all time.
And with Nuke being around, you're reading the Daredevil thing. Get some Captain America in there too.
Yeah, and too, it's like it's of course we all know what Nuke really turns out to be. Just an out of control killing machine.
Yeah, just totally unhinged.
Yeah, it's like
too much Agent Orange or something,
Yeah, it's just it would make more. And of course, he relies on enhancements. Yeah. And things like that, and he's completely out of his fucking mind. It would make more sense to hire someone like Jason McIndale as a Jack-O-Lantern, but obviously once Nuke is unleashed, it's a little too late.
Yeah. We cut here to Mary Jane, which interesting hairstyle choice here.
Yeah, she's got a couple of different there. Of course, I imagine is this just kind of done for her, her fashion show, her modeling that she's doing at the moment. And look, there's Roger Kingsley right there.
Ah, great. Yes. What is it? I'll be along in a moment. They're ready to begin rehearsing tomorrow's runway show.
Yep. And there he is right there talking to the Hobgoblin. Wouldn't you know it?
So the thing here, this issue drops a few clues on the identity of Hobgoblin, but these are red herrings. The story presents itself as though Roderick Kingsley and the Hobgoblin are two different people. However, as revealed in Spider-Man, Hobgoblin lives number 1 through 3. Roderick is really the Hobgoblin. In order to maintain a degree of separation between his two identities, Kingsley often had his brother Daniel pose as him, such in the case in this story. Ugh. However,
it's just fucking lame. I've always just preferred to just kind of leave it like in my mind, thinking that the Hobgoblin, it's never revealed, and you just keep it a mystery. And it was a fun idea and could have really worked. The people upstairs decided let's not be such idiots about it.
Yeah, and we'll also come up on a panel. The person that Mary Jane's going to be talking to later in the street during the story is actually Ned Leeds. Leeds was brainwashed into thinking he was the Hobgoblin, also explained in Spider-Man Hobgoblin Lives. I'm like, what a convoluted... That sucks, man.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I love this. So it's like fight. A little, this is going on here. Hey, here's the Kingpin. Oh, here's Mary Jane. What's she doing? And sometime later in another part of the city, it's like, oh, man. As I understand it, you and the Hobgoblin had a business arrangement. How does that concern you, Mr. Jack will do? So Jack-o'-lantern's making the rounds.
Yeah.
And here is the rose.
Yep.
I don't know a lot about this character. You said Kingpin's son and stuff.
Richard Fisk. Yeah.
How I don't know. I mean, just give me some origin. Is this character just show up? When's it revealed that he's the son of Kingpin?
He's I don't know at what point where Kingpin and his wife, because it's how it's worked in there, but he kind of shows up and is very against what his father does, and his mom's, it's pretty much she's kind of the linchpin between the two, but it's not exactly like a clean, like it's almost like he's upset with his mom for pretty much continuing to be with him because of what he is.
Yeah.
Because she loves him, but he's like, you're married to the city's biggest criminal, one of the country's biggest criminals. Like, how can you condone this shit?
Yeah.
So
and I do like this idea. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna kind of go against my dad, and
he's not about killing people, and he will make that mistake. I believe it's in Gang War, where he is pretty much forced to take a man's life, and he's not happy about it. Like, his mission is to take his father down, and hoping he can get others to do it for him by posing as a legitimate member of crime, like a crime boss. But he's not. It's not his MO. Like, he's not really trying to be full-on crime boss. He's just posing as one, and it takes its toll.
So as Jack-o'-lantern is making the rounds, we swing back to Coney Island, and the battle is still ensuing. And not only that,
Silver Sable's holding her own, but she's still getting knocked on her ass because everyone else is pretty well, like the Beetle is he's well armored. She's not.
Yeah, and she falls quite a ways, and she suspects at first maybe she broke both her ankles, but that's not necessarily the case. But she's definitely beat up, as is Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I love that Speedium just runs right by and just hits the, I guess what you call like a drop zone ride.
This is one of those because
it's one of
those observation things.
Yeah,
you just go to the top, it spins around, you kind of get like a great view of the park.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Carowinds has got one of these.
Okay.
They used to. I have to look that up. Because I remember as a kid, I don't know if I got on that or my parents did, because we went to Carowinds when I was like little. Like I was probably like 4. So I'm like riding the what was it? I think it was all Hanna-Barbera themed at the time.
Oh,
so
cool.
it was like a little kiddie Scooby-Doo roller coaster, and that terrified me.
Oh yeah, like the little dragon roller coaster at the Dublin Fair terrified me.
This one's a little bit bigger than that, of course, but it was a wooden coaster. I went to years later as an adult. I went and rode it just to do like, I conquered my childhood kind of thing. But I think they still have one of those observation towers there. I'll have to look that up later. But yeah, Spider-Man's hurt his arm, so he's fashioned a sling for it. So
And a lot is selling the fact that he did take out Speed Demon for a moment, but at the price of like pretty much having to take his right arm out of action.
Yeah, her ankles are in bad shape, but she'll survive. Of course, not if they have anything to say about it. So.
Yeah, you got two villains that are airborne, and you got three big guys on the ground. One that can run fast, one that can run through things, and the other one can splash through things. And it ain't looking too good right now.
Yeah, so it's like let's go hide in the wood panel structure of the Cyclone roller coaster. We should be safe here, right? And of course, Rhino's like, yeah, we got them where we want them. They're finished.
And they just think too.
Yeah, like Rhino's ramming into it, Beetle's blasting away, Hydro Man's taking a shot at it.
Speed Demon throwing his explosive boomerangs at it.
Yeah, Speed Demon can't really do much.
Not really. All he can do is just wait to attack.
But shit, man, there goes the roller coaster.
Yeah, just disintegrated.
And these things you can't just erect them in a short amount of time either. Like that's gonna take a while.
And that's made out of that's one of the old ones made out of wood. That's gonna take a long fucking time to build back up.
Of course, as this happens, Sandman hears it crashing in the background. It's like, should I go check this out?
Yeah.
And they make a point to say, almost against his will, he feels himself drawn to the site of the massive explosion. It's an act he will live to regret. More misdirection here. It's like, oh, well, who could it be? This man, hiding in the shadows.
Just taking some phone calls. Like, hey, Jack-o'-lantern's like he's sniffing around. He's wanting your job. Well, really? Well,
it just ends up. It's just the disappointment of this is just like contact with Jodie Foster, right?
Yeah, just her damn father thing. Yeah, it's just like I said. I just would rather just be on the because the character, I love the Hobgoblin character. This mystery man for hire that
it's a great design too. Yeah. It's a good look.
Good look, everything. Yeah.
So yeah, it turns out she's talking to Ned Leeds right here.
Yeah.
So.
With that very unattractive hairdo. It's a very 80s hairdo, but not one of Mary Jane's finest looks there.
Yeah. I mean, in reading this, I'm like, oh, it's interesting. Who is the Hobgoblin? So I could see at the time really being like,
God, yeah. And knowing this went on for years,
Yeah, see part of his face. Who could it be? Who could it be? Who's this guy? Oh, she's talking to him. Oh, man, who is it?
Like she knows who he is.
Yeah.
She's talking to the guy who is the Hobgoblin. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And we see amidst the rubble, Spider-Man and Sable pull themselves out of the wreckage. And there they are, waiting to finish them off.
Yep. And that is
nowhere to go. They're beaten, they're battered, they're bruised, and they're ready to get pounced on by all five of them.
And if you want to find out how this all turns out, I mean, then you yourself got to go read issue 280.
Yeah. And issue 280
or 281. Sorry,
excuse me, 281 too. Yeah, it doesn't fail to deliver.
Yeah,
I remember picking the reprint of that up because oh my god, I have to know how this goes in. And I saw the Marvel Tales reprint and like, there it is. And again, I've had such a fond affinity for this 2-part story.
Yeah, which I actually did read after I read this one because
did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's badass.
And we will keep that. So you guys go track down 281. And read it. Now on to the good stuff, Tyler. So there was the big local flea market in the area is going on for Labor Day weekend. My parents always go to it every year. I didn't go to it partially just because they go and they look really well, but also like Emily has her races and stuff, so I went and supported that. But Tyler went to it with his brother. You picked up some G.I. Joes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Who you spent $40 on 4, correct?
Yeah, I got another Range Viper. I got another Strato Viper. I got another Night Creeper, and then I got Dodger, the only cool character from Battle Force 2000. He was complete and they were all cheap. Like the guy, like Strata Vipers like normally go for like 15, 25, $26 because they come with nothing.
Yeah.
But he was clean, like no markings, or didn't look beat up or anything like that. And the Range Viper came with nothing, but it's another Range Viper to add to the diorama. And Night Creeper was almost complete. And he had a whole array of GI Joes because there was people selling vintage stuff. We looked through a lot of comic books. Me and Derek did because it was nice just taking our time looking through books, and we saw some stuff be kind of cool, but nothing really like I really got to pull the trigger on this. He found a bunch of heavy metal magazines, which that was his go-to. That's all he was there for.
Really?
Look
That's
for that.
When did that start?
He got into that really when we went to HeroCon back in June, and he's just been drawn to the artwork from it, and he really loves to read the magazines and look at all the variety of artwork and the covers. Like he wants to put them on display too. So that was his big thing. And like lo and behold, we before we left the VFW gated area, we found a vendor that had a box in the very back. And he's like, I said to Derek, and we both at the same time, it's like, oh, and he went over there, and I was thrilled for him. Like I didn't think I was gonna find anything, and I didn't care if I found anything.
Yeah.
I was happy because he hadn't been to that Hillsville flea market in over a decade. It'd been a long time since he'd been. So I was happy for him.
He was there when it was good.
And I told him, like, and I guess I told him too, I said, dude, the vendors aren't as plentiful as they used to be. Even though really it was slammed with people, it was very crowded, but still, you can still see it's not as packed. Of course, you and I, we've seen how it's looked and
how it's how it used to be, and getting those $5 folded posters. And
I was telling him about that, how we got that whole bushel of $5 original vintage movie posters for $5 a piece. The guy was just like, here, just one to
take them.
Yeah,
it was so good. But is the wife gonna let him display heavy metal?
He puts all that stuff up in the garage. Like he's turned the garage into his man cave. Like his posters, his stand, anything that is comic book or pop culture related, movie related, all goes up in the garage. Like it's one nice setup in there, and
that's good. He's got a place, and it's not.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, because the kids, like, they have their room, then they have their own room that he's put some framed comics that I've picked up for them as well, and put them on display in there too. So, because the boys still like superhero stuff from time to time. So,
I would have to reach too far. It's in the floor there. But my parents went to this, and from it, my dad picked up a movie adaptation of Jason the Argonauts comic book, and I was like, that would be something, because I do have like a scanner that I could like scan the pages. Maybe that's something we could like go through at 1.2, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a comic book adaptation of that. I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean it's from back and around that time period too, because you can see what just how simplistic the cover design and everything is, but not much else in the way at that one. So they decided to venture on out and go further, and they went to another town, and there was a comic and toy shop there, and Dad was sending me pictures all day while at the flea market. He's like, what about this? Like he would send me a picture, send the price, and I was like, nah, I'm not really interested in that. Not interested in that. He sends me a photo. I look at it. I immediately hone in on the one thing. I mean, obviously, it's easier to, because this is a graded comic book. But also, like, I knew what it was just looking at the picture. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. How much do they want for that? And Dad hits me with the price. So I'll just, I
assumed he bought it for you.
Huh?
I assumed he bought it for you.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
Fuck.
What were you thinking?
Well, because at first, I thought he bought it for you. Then I started, the way you were talking, then I thought it sounded like you had the money, you pulled the trigger on it. Like, no,
he bought it for me, free.
Like, how the hell does your parents just have that kind of just stockpile? That's where your parents are like the equivalent of Scrooge McDuck. They got a fucking money bin behind their house.
So what my dad would do is, obviously he carried cash on him all the time. Still does. Anytime he would take a 20 or whatever and got change back, and he would get a $5 bill, he would just take that $5 bill and saved it, and would save it. At one point, I think they said just in $5 bills alone, they had saved like $12,000 or something.
God.
Anyway, he sends me this picture, and I was like, wonder what the price is on that. And he hit me back the price. I was like, that's not bad considering. And then he was like, hit me with another price, and he's like, this is as low as he'll go. I said, it's priced lower than eBay, and that's a shitload of money. He's like, yeah. He's like, do you want it? And here's my exact quote. I said, tempting, but that's too much. LOL. You did enough for my birthday. Because, God, he got me.
Okay, because Harold was thinking Nathan's like, I wasn't really looking for it, but yeah, if you want to buy it for me, sure, why not?
No. And then he replies with this, not going to find it cheaper anywhere else. I was like, that's true. And then he was like, what number Iron Fist were you looking for? So I was like, oh, yeah, Marvel Premiere 15. And I was like, where are you anyway? And he told me where the shop was. And I was like, nice. And then he sent me a picture where he's like, he found a Fantastic Four book that we needed. He's like, yeah, I got them both. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, bet Mom is thrilled. And then he's like, don't tell Tyler. And I was like, I gotta tell Tyler.
Wait to tell me that, oh, by
I was like, I gotta tell Tyler. And then he was like, rub it in. So
I used to see your dad laughing at my misery.
Yeah. So I've held off long enough just kind of talking about it. Unless
I got to get like some sort of like temporary adoption with your parents because this is bullshit.
Amazing Spider-Man number 50. First appearance of Kingpin. The iconic John Romita covers
of all time.
Yeah. Graded 5.5, which pretty good. The one thing Dad said though, because when Dad gets all these comics when he's out, like when he gets home, he reads them. And he's like, I hate when they're in these because I can't read them. And I was like,
I was telling Derek yesterday that your dad picks them up for you. He said, no, he reads the books before he gives them because he enjoys reading them.
Yeah, actually, he won a couple on eBay because he's on eBay looking for comics too.
God, that's hot.
And he got I think it was Fantastic Four 59. Let's see. It's like 58, 60, 61. And he told me yesterday when I went to go pick these up, he was like, hey, can you bring Fantastic Four 62 over? I want to see how this story finishes up. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, so because for those unaware too, because it's been a while since we've done a spinner rack. And I'm not doing this with anybody, any other characters. Fantastic Four, trying to get like that first full run of the 416 issues, and we are getting down to it's basically just like like 1 through 40 almost at this point. So yeah, got all of those down there boxed up. Some of them obviously displayed on the walls because I do have.
I think you'll have to send that list like come Christmas time of your birthday because there's like I said, there's a couple issues I wanted to buy personally, and I'm thinking like you need them as well for your collection. So
yeah,
I like the first appearance of the Mad Thinker and the Awesome Android. Like that's one I want for myself.
There you go.
I could trade you. You could give me that, and I can give you the first appearance of Mad Thinker and Awesome Android.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
I want to shit in your hat.
Yeah, that's what Tyler texted me too, among some other things. And I sent him the photo of Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber sitting on the side of the road with his butt crack hanging out. So that's pretty much what Tyler was like yesterday.
Yeah.
But Tyler's day continued to get better, of course, because you attended a 3D screening of Jaws, the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
You went to a showing last night. It started at 7. I got a text from you at 8:11 telling me that it was fucked. I was like, oh, let's hear this story. So you go ahead and tell everyone what happened.
It was frustrating enough before the movie even started because I'm sitting next to these three goofs that just look like they don't come out of the house too much, and they're just gabbing like, all right, whatever. And they're playing what felt like 30 fucking minutes of TV commercials before the movie, as opposed to like, this is one of the Fathom screenings. Like they just have like an interview with, Steven Spielberg or someone who's, going to introduce the movie, like, hey, to celebrate. It's just commercial after commercial, and not movie commercials, just commercials about food, phones, games, just stupid shit, one after the other. I'm like, for Christ's sake, can I watch the 20 that the Rio used to do back in the day?
Yeah, the 20.
And And then finally,
Maria Menounos or whatever.
Yeah. And they play a trailer for a movie. I had no idea it was coming out, a sequel to Wicked. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh yeah, because it's like 2 parts or something.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god. And I'm sitting there like, oh my god, will this trailer just end already? Like, I don't want to see any more like Tragedies of the Wizard of Oz already. And then another bullshit series of TV commercials started playing. Like, fuck. And then finally, the lights go down. Steven Spielberg comes on, gives his introduction, and the people I'm hearing just idle chit chat from these two ladies and the guy. Like, they're just like going on like, you know, I'm not just you know, just because they're completely fucking oblivious.
How far down are they from you?
They're maybe 6 seats from me.
But they're talking loud enough that you can just pretty much make out
I
everything
just hear the
saying?
two girls. They're just yakking. Like, I don't know what they're saying, but they're just, you can just hear them. Blah, 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 blah. The guy's not saying anything. He's sitting there trying to watch and eat popcorn.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's plenty of times where I've had to yell at people, and then plenty of times where I'm like, okay, my blood's boiling, wait, and then eventually sometimes people just shut up and you don't have to say anything. So the movie starts, the Universal logo comes up, and I put the glasses on. 3D transition in 4K looks really, really good. The door opens down below, and a family comes in, and this little girl just screams, oh, son of a bitch. And then people in the theater going, like it was cute and funny that this dumbass child starts screaming in the middle of the fucking Jaws credits. And they come in and sit down with their dumbass kids. And the mom was still trying to get these, what appeared to be two youngsters and one slightly older kid, shut the fuck up. And they're down below me on the other side of the theater, but I can still just, and the two ladies are going, then they'll shut up, and then it picks up again. And I'm like focusing on how good the picture looks. Like, oh my god, this looks amazing, but I can't fucking enjoy it because my blood is boiling right now.
Yeah.
And we get to where Richard Dreyfuss character Hooper is doing the autopsy on Christie's body. And I finally just say, could you please stop talking? The two girls shut the fuck up immediately.
Yeah.
Two of the kids down below got up and left the thing. Like, good. Go play with your fucking phone or whatever it is you're doing. Just go. If this movie's just too much for you, just sit down for 2 hours and watch a shark eat people. Go outside and play whatever's trending on your fucking phone. They come back, and there's still more chattering. And then the movie cuts off. Right there. Movie cuts off. The lights come on. I'm like, it was just like McDonald's with the Ice Cream City, Ice Cream Sundae, and Phil Collins. And I'm just like, just sitting there like, this can't get any worse. And I sit and I wait, and I'm like, this has just gotten to be too much. And I pick myself up, and I'm just contemplating just getting up and leaving. Like, then all of a sudden, the audio comes on for what it picked up, and so we're just hearing the crisp, clear audio of the movie, but no picture. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to get kicked on. And one of the staff comes in and just kind of says, everything, we don't know what happened, but everything, the entire theater went down. Every screen room went down. Every movie that was playing, no matter where it was at, stopped.
Yeah.
And there's no, it's not a storm outside. It's just something fucked up with their system. So is the audio still playing? I'm like, God, man, like I kept thinking, like, is this movie going to kick back on where the audio is and it's just synced up? So we missed like a good portion of the movie because it's just catching up. I'm like, this is unacceptable. And of course, everyone in the theater is just like, it's just gabbing on and just having a good old time. And just like, it's just like, like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Maybe I'll come back and it'll be kicked back on. No, it's not. And I sat there just for a few more moments and said, all right, I'm out. I got my stuff and I listened to one of the staff. She was trying to explain what was happening. And I stopped her and I heard her mention about refunds. I said, look, and I told her, this is what happened is, look, I've had to yell at a family to stop talking. And another family went, she's like, please, if that happens again, or anything, please come let one of us know. We will stop. I said, ma'am, I don't want to make a scene in the movie theater. I don't want to raise my blood pressure about all this shit.
Yeah.
And she was like, I completely understand. Please come get one of us if people are in there and they will not stop talking. But I hate the fact that I got to get up, miss part of the movie
Yeah.
to get someone and hope to God that they'll find who I'm talking about
Yeah.
and tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not going to be one, and I never want to be one of those people. If you're upset about something, whether it's in a store, movie theater, whatever, never attack the people who work there. So I was very calm and cordial with this lady, and she was so helpful and so sincere and so apologetic. And she says, the only way we can give you a refund is when they get the systems back up. Our manager, who was busy trying to get everything back up, is the only one capable of doing that. I said, all right, I'll wait. So I went and I waited, and people were asking, can I do anything for it? And I told them, no, I'm just here for a refund. And people are coming and asking questions and things like that. And I waited a good 20 minutes. And then the manager was trying to get the registers back up, still trying, and they're saying like the Jaws screening is like the audio is going, but there's no movie. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just focus on getting there. And I just stood there patiently and waited. And the manager, when he came over and told me, "Can I help you, sir?" And I said, "I just need a refund." He's okay. He was so cool about it. No grumbling about it or anything like that. And my money was back in my account when I woke up this morning. The staff was very courteous. They were very friendly. All of them were. They would speak and, we're so sorry about this, and they were even selling like these really cool like Amityville popcorn buckets with a yellow barrel drink cup.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I said, well, how much are those? He goes, oh, $33. I was like,
it's not terrible.
But I'm like, I just want the bucket for display in the barrel as a display piece. And I was like, part of me was like, man, this evening's just sucked already. And they had a really nice teal blue Jaws 50th anniversary shirt with like this original design of the billboard that's in the movie.
Oh, man.
On the back, kind of a play on that.
Yeah.
And that was $20.
That's not bad.
And it wasn't bad either. But at that point, I was just so fed up with the behavior of people who just couldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And the movie cutting off, never coming back on. Who knows when it came back on.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I left the theater, I was decompressed. But Nathan asked me, let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I just unleashed on him, because normally I'm pretty reserved about stuff. I don't, unless Nathan's trying to work me up over something he bought that I couldn't have, I'm pretty laid back about stuff in general. But
why are you talking about this?
Yeah. That's it.
Talking about that
cock.
you want to go get the first appearance of Wolverine?
No, it's okay.
Real quick. Okay.
I was there when you bought it. but I didn't lose sleep about it. But it was disappointing because the picture looked really good. The sound wasn't as great. It wasn't as loud as like when we saw Turtles the first time. But I was really impressed with the 3D transition of it. Like it looked very good. And last night was the ideal time because now it's like I got work. You got to worry about going to work the next day, and it's a 7:00 showing, and I could try. It is playing over here in Radford too, at the old like Rinky Dink Theater too.
Well, do that.
So part of me is like, maybe I should just try that because it's cheap and.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like you don't know what dumb.
Well, I've been there before when their theater shut down too.
Yeah.
That happened several years ago too. I'm like, It's only happened twice in my entire movie going experience. I've yelled at more people than something like that's happened.
Yeah.
So part of me is like making sure that I got to make the time to get things I got to get done to get to the theater and hoping to God that
it's such a hassle anymore to really think about it. It's like, all right, it's supposed to start at 7. Say we're going to a movie, it's not a Fathom event. They're going to do trailers and stuff. The movie's not going to start until 20 after. The movie's 2 hours long. I'm going to get out at like 9:30, maybe a little bit later. Then I'm going to have to drive home. And then it's also, you don't know what you're going to get with the people when you're in there. Like, are they going to like be courteous, or they want to just treat it like it's a restaurant? And you're just...
And you always know when you call people up, they look at you like, how dare you tell me to stop talking during a movie?
Yeah, I'm offended. And it's like, dude,
I'm here talking. I paid good money to come here and talk. Well, I paid good money to watch a movie. You shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I wish we could just get an Alamo Draft House or something around here because they're very strict about not talking and being on your phones and stuff.
Yeah, and I love that theater in Blacksburg, like you get no phone signal. Like if you get bored and you want to fuck around on your phone, you can't because there's no phone signal. There's no service in the building.
Yeah.
And I wish Regal would do that, in some of the other theaters. But you know what? They're lower tier theaters. They can't afford to do that.
And at this point, too, they're just lucky. They're like, please come watch a movie because movie theater.
And this Saturday night, the parking lot was bare bones. I mean, I even thought like this place may be slammed at Saturday. I haven't been to a movie on a Saturday night in God knows how long, and it was, dude, it was like a Monday night.
I mean, there's not really anything. I mean, I think I'm going to go see the Toxic Avenger tomorrow, and I don't think anyone's going to be there for that, so I should be okay. So so we'll see how that goes. But we were talking about Marvel Legends and stuff. This ties back in you because you also mentioned it earlier because you brought up Escape from New York. So I watched Escape from New York and L.A. and then Big Trouble in Little China is Big Trouble in Little China and Escape from LA free with ads on YouTube for anyone that wants to go and check those out. But after watching Big Trouble, I was like, well, I have the Jack Burton figure from that Into Toys from the early 2000s when they.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that Wave 1 line. So I went ahead and picked up Lightning and Wang from that. For now, of course, they're pretty. Those are on the cheaper end. Everyone else is pretty high.
How many did they make? I didn't know they made that many.
Let's see. I'll look it up on here. Trying to remember. Into Toys, Big Trouble. So, yeah, man, Big Trouble in Little China is something you and I need to discuss at some point.
Oh yeah, it's a movie that deserves our celebration services.
Let's see if it's
I mean, it's been talked about by everybody and anybody, but for us to take time to sit and talk about it, we owe it to ourselves to do that at some point.
All right, found an image. Let's upload it on here. There we go. And it says too, like Series 2 coming soon, but of course this never happened.
So I guess all I remember seeing was Jack Burton. I don't remember seeing any of that other line. I just remember seeing the pictures of him in Toy Fair magazine and thinking, like, oh my god! But then I never saw the figure, so I had no idea that they had done Egg or the Wild Man, Wang, or Lightning, or Lopan. I had no clue about any of those.
Yeah. So my plan is to eventually. I mean, I got three of the 6. Now, so I just need to get Wild Man, Egg, and Lopan's pretty expensive. Him and Jack, I think, are the 2 most expensive ones from that.
Wow, I'm surprised they haven't done like NECA hasn't tried to get the rights to do.
Yeah,
the 3 Storms, Wang, Egg, Lopan, and Jack, of course.
I know that someone put out Loyal Subjects put out a Lightning figure. I saw it at Walmart a couple times, but it's like definitely like really small. I was like, that doesn't really do much for me. But I don't know. It's just after watching that movie and I already had the Jack Burton because I got the Jack Burton at a time. I'm like, I want a Kurt Russell figure collection.
Yeah.
And that's kind of turned more into just me having a display shelf for like John Carpenter films in general. And I'm like, I kind of want to get all these Big Trouble figures. So that'll be the plan.
Like so many of his movies could warrant an action figure line, like both Escape movies could. The Thing obviously has. Halloween has given us figures. They Live, like they've made a few figures, from that as well. Yeah. Vampires should be given we should get a Jack Crow and a Valak. Damn it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Let's move over now to questions and comments here. Let me load up some of the stuff on YouTube that we had, and I'll highlight some of the chat that we had here. This comes from our Master Power Cast review of Sleepers Awaken. This is Mike Lomax saying, great episode of Megaforce is a total 80s cheese. It's just worth it to see all the scenes with the custom cars and motorbikes in action. So yeah, Megaforce is something I'll check out at some point. And then Brian Clifton, because of us reviewing, I definitely need to give this episode a rewatch. I usually find myself rewatching certain episodes. Look forward to some Spinner Rack episodes in the future. So between that comment and then we had James on, we started because of that, we inspired James he's like, I kind of want to make some videos in the future pertaining to comics. And he was getting all excited about that. And then talking with him and that comment, I was like, Tyler, it's been a while. We should do a spinner rack, right? So
yeah.
That's how we ended up with this episode for you all today. This comes from Terrell White. This is the Wave 4 Vintage Card Back tier list. And Grizzler's card art, he does look like a crit from the movie Critters. It's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he does.
Of course, Rebecca chiming in. Really love seeing all the storyboards. Great episode all. And anytime we're doing an episode review and we let James know what it is, and then James is like, actually, you know what? I would like to come on and show off storyboards. I'm like,
yeah.
Tyler and James can argue about their differing opinions on certain episodes of Filmation. Casey Duncan, of course, always giving us some praise in the emoticon form. So appreciate you doing that. Now on to some of the stuff here that we had in the chat. Philippe, I highly recommend you guys read Fantastic Four 355. It's The Thing versus Wrecker. I know you guys are Wrecker fans. It's a solid read. Kind of sad as well. I haven't dug that deep into the Fantastic Four, like that far out into it. But yeah, that's something I'll definitely.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind because I love a good story where the Wrecker's the sole villain or the Wrecking Crew in general.
Yeah. Johnny Cock in the chat. I like how Tyler says Jaws.
Jaws.
You ever say certain words sometimes and it just sounds really weird? Like you said them a bunch of times, but you just randomly you'll say a word and you're like, that sounds strange.
Yeah, I'm sure. I feel like I have. I couldn't pick out exactly what word
I did that once with the word toilet. I was like, that's just
toilet.
How did they come up with wanting to just call it?
I guess like people always have their way of saying caramel. Like I always say caramel.
Yeah,
I always say caramel.
Tomato.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind saying both, but I always have one that I'm more inclined to say first.
Yeah. Gary Buchanan, spinner rack forever, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have those people there. Like, you know what? Yeah, I like when you guys talk Master Universe, but you know what? I really
it's good to know that we take pride in know that we can talk about other things other than just He-Man. You know, that there's other things we're very passionate about, and it's nice to know that people like it when we decide, you know what, we're gonna do something different for a little bit and just talk about comics, talk about movies or other cartoons that we're also passionate about. Like we're not in a one-trick pony. Yeah. We've always been that way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nice to know that, you know, if we want to take a break, which serves us very well to take a break from talking about He-Man, it recharges our batteries and we're ready to go again. But, you know, it's been too long since we talked about comics or anything else, and we owe it to ourselves to take a break and talk about something different for a change.
Johnny also is saying here, well, let's see. Let's get to this question first. How exactly does Sandman's hair actually work? Yeah, what is kind of like the design of that? Because they also did it like with Osborn as well. Just
the
touches
both,
with the hair.
Both Harry and Norman have got this kind of line, like kind of shadow texture in their hair.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that, but but his hair would just turn into sand, like you know, when he's, you know, enlarging his head or just moving his entire body, like it just would dissolve and just reform. It just takes on the form of that human look, just like his feet become shoes. It's not like he has bare feet. No, his feet are shoes because that's what he was wearing when the accident happened. So he has the green shirt, the striped shirt, the brown pants, shoes, and the same hairdo there.
Until they decided to change it up.
It got to where it was more textured as the years would go on, because it when you look at the first appearance of Sandman, it's not that detailed. It's just kind of like this kind of very light brown hair.
Yeah. But
then you see him later, like it just has more layers to the look of it.
Until they decided to change his costume.
Ugh.
Johnny also saying your dad's idea with the $5 bills being saved is awesome. Yeah, I think like anything you can do, because like me personally, every week I have $75 like go from my checking account to my savings account, and I just don't touch the savings account and just let it build and build and build. So I think any like sort of, I mean, especially a $5 bill, like you don't, when you look at it's like that's not much, but over time you just keep doing it, adds up. So
yeah.
Financial advice from us on the show. Tyler definitely got a unique Jaws experience. Yeah, something
Oh,
he'll
I've
never
had
forget.
better Jaws experience because it's not the first time I've seen it on the big screen. I've seen it twice on the big screen, I'm pretty sure. And both times it was very enjoyable. Everyone was respectful. Everyone's there to watch and experience it back on the big screen. And unfortunately, I got stuck with parents with dumbass children and two girls who just felt like whatever they were saying was more important than listening to the fucking movie. What was weird too is that one girl, the I couldn't tell if she was their daughter or a sibling or whatever. She goes, "Am I gonna get scared watching this movie?" And I just looked at her like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" Just. I get there are people walking this planet who've never seen Jaws, Star Wars, and God forbid even Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I'm sorry, but there's a bunch of movies I've never seen. I'm well aware of what they are, what's in them, who's in them, and to sit there and say, "Is Jaws going to scare me?" Or like, "What's this movie about?" You know, like. I don't. How do you get through life?
You have the world at your fingertips, and you don't know like what Jaws is.
Yeah, like knowing that back, even if you were close and same age, like when was TBS or TNT not playing Jaws? When was AMC not playing Jaws? Or Turner Classic Movies not playing Jaws? When is it not referenced in every form of popular culture, from TV shows and other movies and comic books and cartoons? They are finding some way to reference that movie. More than, next to Wizard of Oz, maybe even Citizen Kane or Casablanca, Jaws has been referenced damn near probably more than any other movie in cinematic history. And for someone to sit there and say, I never seen this.
Yeah. It's weird. These people need to be interviewed. It's like, well, what have you watched?
Yeah, and what do you watch? And I probably would regret asking that question, because then they tell me what they spend their time watching. I'm like,
yeah.
I should have just shoved my head in my toilet or something like that. And just, anything but this.
Do you not have the pre-movie warning about being a considered audience? Yeah, we do, but
we have in all theaters from the.
It says like silence your cell phones and
no talking.
Yeah, no talking. Be considerate of others. Like it tells you that pretty much verbatim.
But people they're pretty much they're too into themselves to like, oh wait, what is happening on the screen? What is it telling me? Oh, what was that you said again? Just their idle chit chat takes precedent. That is the priority in life. Is I can't sit here for 2 hours or an hour and a half in the dark and watch something I paid a lot of money for or someone else paid for.
Yeah.
And just be engaged and just check out for an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time and experience something you've never seen before, or experience something like you've never seen before. It's so much different than seeing on TV, and people just knowing that the theater was packed with people when we saw Turtles. I thought, oh my God, this is not going to go well. And
it turned out mostly okay. Yeah. Other than the little girl getting fidgety.
Yeah.
But she wasn't like super,
no, it wasn't just like that moron child that just, and just, holding, like a cat with a ball of yarn in front of her face. And she just, there's a swatting at or some shit like that, just, you got the attention span of a circus monkey. And when I was waiting to get my refund, I see that family walk out with their dumbass children. Like, and I looked, I'm like, yeah, you look like the types you can't shut the fuck up.
And then it would have been me saying something, and then Tyler having to like step in and be like, "Hey, now."
Yeah, I got to take the blunt, just like we did with King Kong Bundy and his family.
I'm trying to find an image to. Yeah, there we go. Let's save that. JSP saying they need to make the Ghost from the Fog.
Yeah, I agree. That those would be awesome to see those in figure form.
Well,
because they've done the kids wearing the Halloween masks from Halloween 3. I don't know what they would do from Prince of Darkness.
There you go. Man, it's
okay.
A little blurry there. This is the clothed versions, but NECA did put these out. I actually have it there on the shelf, and yes, his eyes do.
That's
glow.
Cool.
Yeah, and then they also made. It won't actually here. I'll just share the tab so you guys can kind of see.
Chase from Memoirs of Invisible Man.
Yeah,
they actually made an Adrienne Barbeau figure from her.
Yeah. I think it was like you have to. It's like the figure, the vinyl, and the poster. Yeah,
It looks amazing. Does it look that good in person?
I don't know that.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
I'll say their prototype of face sculpt's neck up makes them look like, oh my god, how do they do it? And Hasbro can't do it at all. And then you get it in hand and like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Here's a question from JSP. Can you guys name the most disappointing event in comic history? Mine might be Secret Wars 2.
I never read Secret Wars 2 because I'm like, how the hell? Why would you want to try and top that? And I think James is kind of a fan of Secret Wars 2. For me, I was kind of, I thought Batman Hush was really fucking disappointing.
I figured that was one you.
That one,
yeah,
and
that was disappointing.
I've come to embrace the end of Civil War. I was not going to read the second one because fuck Captain Marvel. But I was kind of disappointed that it just ended with Cap, like, you know what, I give up just to rest us all. Which I got why the character does it, but at the time I was like, what? Like, we're just gonna, that's it?
Yeah.
Like the registration act is gonna win in this scenario. Like, and I was disappointed with it because I was so enthralled with the Spider-Man storyline, the Wolverine storyline, and the main storyline. And I was disappointed. But the last time I read it, it was like, you know what? He's beating the shit out of Iron Man. He could have killed him. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. Arrest me. I'd rather you guys arrest me because you know what? You guys are going to win this. You guys are all wrong. But you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I really became like a legitimate Captain America fan, was that first issue of Civil War. And S.H.I.E.L.D. officers are trying to arrest him. And Maria Hill's like telling him to stand down. I'm like, oh my God, Captain America's a badass dude. I mean, I always didn't mind the character, but that's when I was like, oh, I was like, okay, this fucking rocks. Like, he's looking, I was like, no, I'm not backing off. I'm gonna do the right thing, and that's why I was just like, I was like, man, fuck Shield. Yeah, I was like, yeah, fuck Shield. I hate Shield. They suck. So, but other than that, Maximum Carnage was. I look back at that. I loved that as a child, but it's a bit of a redundant story. It's just kind of repetitive. Over and over and over and over again for 12 separate issues. It's not, I mean, other than you get other heroes coming into the big fight, which is really cool, but it just kind of doesn't have a grand finale. It's just kind of ends with Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage, which we've already seen that before.
Yeah.
You know, and Spider-Man ended up kind of taking a bit of a back seat because Venom's gaining popularity left and right at the time.
Yeah, Hush has got to be up there.
Yeah, Hush, because there was so much hype around that, and the story was very predictable.
I think honestly, probably a lot of these ones, like early 2000s onward, where they're trying to replicate that big event feel of things that capture people's attention in the 80s and 90s, trying to like, let's drum this up. I think a lot of that has fallen short of expectations.
Well, and it's they tried to recapture. I mean, Marvel has tried to tell Secret Wars again. They tried to do Civil War again.
We got it, like, one here for Clone Saga.
Yeah, Clone Saga would be a prime one, and because when that was going on, I had very few issues of that storyline, and I was only getting snippets of the story. My buddy Matt Hilton was pretty much in the know of how that whole thing was going on, so he's having to explain that to me and saying that it's looking like, you know what, the Peter Parker we've been reading and knowing about all the time is really the clone. Like, what? I was like, that's lame. Like, no, that can't be right. Because I like Scarlet Spider, but I was like, I didn't want it to be like, you know what? And that's something they were kind of teetering about doing. And
yeah.
But that was, again, you had too many cooks in the kitchen with no clear direction. Just drag it out as much as you can, because Maximum Carnage, the Clone side, then you had the Death of Superman and Batman Nightfall, like events. Oh, and then you had Onslaught, Age of Apocalypse, events. You know, and
multiple variant covers.
Yeah,
buy them all. Consume. Bye.
Yeah, bye. And it's they all got gritty. Marvel and DC just got gritty as fuck, and it just bit them in the ass.
Yeah, bit them in the ass pretty hard.
You know, but because some of those, like Death of Superman, was a big success. You can say it was a shitty storyline all you want, but you know what? It made national news. Like when I'm watching the news and they're talking about the Death of Superman being released today, like that's something you just didn't see.
Yeah,
you know?
It was like
that was a big deal.
It was like Death of Superman, Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Nightmare for Freddy. It's like this is it, and of course it never was. was.
But as a child, you're led to believe, oh my God, this really is going to be it. Like Superman's going to die, and all these other, which I was all about Cyborg Superman. I just thought, he looks like Terminator. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I want him to be Superman. And it's like, no, Superman comes back in his lame ass black costume. He's got long hair. And like,
yeah. So I guess,
but I love John Henry as Steel and the Eradicator. They were very cool looking characters. I always thought they were very interesting. I didn't care for Superboy. I was like, man, he's just a punk.
Superboy kind of sucks. So,
it was a fun time for comic books back then. It really was.
And not only that, but just also like the display pieces, the posters and standees and stuff that would come out around that time too.
Oh man, yeah, comic book posters. Like, I mean, you could even buy comic book posters like in Walmarts and Kmart's back then. I mean, you could buy Spider-Man and X-Men posters at your local Kmart.
Yeah.
Let alone what you'd find like the real special stuff in comic shops. They'd have the real. That's where I got my my Wolverine versus a Hammerhead Shark poster. Was at Fun and Games back in the 90s. I mean, that's why I had to rebuy it now, because the only place I could see that was in a comic shop, and that was a big deal to see something like that. You just couldn't see at a department store or anything like that. So it was there were some really cool posters back in the day, man. Like a lot of cool display pieces, beautiful cover art. Of course, the trading cards, which was still one of the greatest things of all time.
Yeah, Johnny actually reached out to me yesterday on Instagram. I'll read that real quick too. Going back to like the posters and stuff, and talking about when we were talking with James and messages, I was talking about LTs. There were a couple posters from his shop that I got. One of them was Batman Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah,
really cool looking poster too. And we wouldn't have to pay for him. He's like, yeah, take it. Like, I got to take it down soon anyway and put something else up. So it's like, well, okay. And then it's when they did the Robin solo comics.
I remember that poster because I think I've seen that in your collection.
Yeah, it was like that big, like door-sized poster. And yeah, so that was actually in my room at the time. That was proudly, I think we hung it up on the door or something. I think like one side was like Robin poster, and then the other side had that Ninja Turtle basketball hoop hamper that you throw your dirty clothes in. But Johnny reached out yesterday, and I got to scroll up a little bit. I see these Marvel Universe Power Rating cards as our last DM, and I bought a complete base set and hollows for the set last weekend. So I was like, man, that's
which set did you buy?
I didn't. Let's see. It's just said there, Marvel Universe Power Rating cards is our last message, and I bought a complete base set and hollows for the set last weekend. So I'm assuming the Marvel Universe cards.
I guess I was just curious, like which one, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think there's 5. And I don't know what came after that.
I mean, you're still in the chat. Let us know which ones that
I
you
finally
picked
put this up. Speaking of like great,
there you
posters, series 2 is an ass kicker. Like that's there was ads for that in the comic books and everything like that. Actually, as we're talking about posters, I bought this at that. At a awesome comic book store in Pittsburgh last November, and I finally put it in the frame. I sent it to you there. We can share it with people.
Oh, I thought you were going to show it off on your phone.
No, I mean, it's,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing but it's classic Silver Age Spider-Man that Alex Ross has homaged. And it was the only one they had. It was on display, and I asked him how much it was, and I was like, well, it's the only one we got. So I paid like a small fee for it, and he folded it up for me nice and neat. And I couldn't figure out where the hell am I going to put it. And doing my rearranging in the last couple of weeks, I was like, I come up with some ideas, and yeah.
I love Alex Ross artwork.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better. Like I was not too. I thought he was all right when he was first introduced, but as the years have gone on, his art was just gotten even more and more amazing. The timeless variants that he's been doing in the last few years, like there's another wave of variants coming out this month of the comic book covers that had just got like various classic heroes and villains. He's done like Banshee, Kazar and Shauna are getting ready to come out later this month, along with Luke Cage. He's done
Ooh.
Iron Fist.
Ooh.
And they look amazing. Like they just like, oh my god! Like I've got all these villains. Like I need to get some of the heroes. Like I got Namor and I got Thor. I want to get Shang-Chi. I want to get Thunderbird. I want to get Spider-Man, Daredevil, Captain America, the Punisher, Wolverine. Like get all my favorite X-Men, put them together, and get all my like, and just change it up a little bit because I got all those awesome villains on display.
Yeah,
I was like, I need to get some of the heroes, and just with this next wave. Like if you look at Power Man and Iron Fist and Kazar, he's even done Zabu, the saber-tooth tiger. Like he's done a cover for him. Like God,
Tyrannosaurus.
Like, what's that?
Nah, you just said
okay,
the way the saber-tooth tiger. I followed it up with Tyrannosaurus.
Okay, you should have said Power Rangers, Dino Thunder.
Yeah. JSP saying here that his Master Universe Lithograph looks amazing.
It does. Like when he did that sketch that came with the DVDs, like that was blown away by just the sketch. But when he actually finished it and turned it, like, oh my god, like, and it's a shame, but it's also a good thing because the powers that be Mattel would just have him draw something fucking stupid. You know, because if they were to really illustrate Clamp Champ fighting Ninja or like on like one of the parapets of Castle Grayskull, and with the moon shining, you know, over them or something like that, with, you know, maybe the Fright Fighter flying towards him in the distance to pick up Ninja or something like that, and he could make it look absolutely amazing. But you know, Rob Day would be like, no, that's not lame enough. I got this awesome idea I wrote on my computer back in 1995.
Yeah. Obviously, of course, Alex Ross with his Fantastic Four work, I've enjoyed a lot as well. I actually got one of those posters hanging up down in the comic room. We were talking earlier about movies. I was debating we'll probably go see that Toxic Avenger remake tomorrow. You got any plans? Are you gonna you're gonna go see Jaws again? You said last night you would like to try to.
It's just trying to figure out what's going to be the best weeknight to try and take time to go and hoping to God that, you know, because it's going to be a bit of a rush because work, I can never predict when I'm going to get done. Try and get to the gym, if I got to get my groceries and all that stuff.
Just go tonight. Same time.
I'm actually got time with the family, my brother and the family going over to Mom's for dinner tonight.
Just take them with you, and then your nephew.
I love nothing more because my oldest nephew asked about watching Jaws, and Derek's telling him, look, if we show you Jaws, you're not going back in the water again. We're just telling you that right now.
Yeah, he is. So he's a little too young for it.
But I saw Jaws at age 5 and was not phased at all by it. You know, of course, I saw Predator at age 5 and a bunch of other stuff I probably shouldn't have seen too. So
yeah.
But just knowing that Derek wants to make, he knows how his kids are. And he's just like, look, if I show you this, we're going to be dealing with a problem.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I was just going to say, like, if you go tonight, you take him and be like, all right, when you walk through the doors, make sure you go,
Yeah. Just be as obnoxious as you possibly can, Bryant.
Going back to also to disappointment, Superman versus Predator was
disappointing. Oh, God. Yeah. That was. I even when they first announced it, I was like, I'm not interested in that idea at all. And because they had to say, well, what's going to happen when Superman has no powers? Like, so that's how you justify this fight.
Yeah,
it's like you got to take away his powers. It's like you had no business pitting him against Predator anyway.
Yeah,
and this was something I wanted to run by you as well because I thought like Marvel has continued to keep fucking up their use of the Predator. I'm like, there's one character they have not done a crossover with Predator. I'm like, this works better, and they're doing one with Spider-Man. Like, I am not interested at all in seeing Spider-Man take on the Predator and seeing Spider-Man deal with skin bodies and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like, you know what, that doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for that character. I have always thought. I even started like jotting down ideas, and of course, I never finished it because I'm like, I just started really getting into it, and like, I'll come back to it. But it's Predator versus Daredevil.
I'm thinking there. I'm like, he's either going to go like Daredevil or Punisher.
Punisher. My idea was to bring Punisher into the storyline.
Yeah,
but I just immediately thought like to have the Predator, like, can't figure out why the Daredevil moves away from things like various attacks and blasts when it's in its cloaking device, because Daredevil can hear better and just like he's drawn to like, why does this guy keep eluding my shoulder cannon? Why is he eluding it? Like my spear throws and then my disc throws and various other attacks? Like, how does this guy dodge all this stuff? Because he can hear it coming. And that's what drives the Predator crazy. Is like, I'm just concerned. Why is this guy eluding attack after attack when he can't? How this guy can't even see me? How's he doing it?
Yeah, and you could also sort of implement it where it's very Predator 2-esque. Like all this
That's
stuff's
what
going on.
yeah.
Yeah, Daredevil's like throwing his hat in there. It's like, all right, I need to see what's going down in
Yeah,
this
because
one. So
my idea was like it's like they said that the pros always show up where there's a lot of conflict and intense heat, so they can helps them see better.
yeah.
I figured like you got to have
So
crime bosses looking to unite to take down the kingpin. Bullseye gets involved, and like the
well,
predators.
that's why I was so it kind of ties in. It's like, yeah, gang wars are going on here, and you could also, it's like, all right, Kingpin, you toss the Rose in there, like have all.
I wanted to have like pit like the Owl and Hammerhead trying to make this big unification to unite their crime families to like to usurp the Kingpin. Both thinking like, okay, well, I'll take you out once we've taken out the Kingpin. But the Predators just seeing like this constant growth of crime and conflict of these crime families are trying to one out the other. And from a distance, the Punisher has observed what the Predator's doing, like from a distance, like he's in the middle of something and realize, okay, someone else just did something else, and he's just like, before he acts, like he's observing and watching, not attacking, not killing anybody, but doing what the Predator's doing, is observing and watching. So when Daredevil is trying to figure out what's going on, Punisher's like, it's a fucking alien, to quote Gary Busey. Like,
Yeah,
you can't see him, I can't see him, but they're observing us. They're just like Predator. The Punisher will be the one to kind of bring Daredevil up to date about what is going on, like crime gangs and fans. The Punisher has been observed, been skinned alive, and he's observing this MO and following it, and realizing like it ain't a human that's doing all this. Daredevil, it's an alien that's after us. We're the trophies.
yeah.
And I just felt like, and then he observes a fight with Daredevil and Bullseye, and gets into a fight with Bullseye, and like what would happen there, and seeing like Kingpin is, even though he's not fighting, the Predator would realize that the Kingpin is one of the most alpha males, one of the biggest trophies in the entire city. What would the Predator be like in a fight with the Kingpin?
And then that would have that interesting dynamic of the Daredevil's got to save Kingpin kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Saying it's badass. I want this show.
Yeah.
Apparently, Marvel's doing a Captain America versus Aliens.
Ugh.
Why? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Again, just like all these shitty crossovers with Master Universe, they don't blend. Just because you can blend them together because you want to be a fanboy, but doesn't mean it makes a great story.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Predator works so well with Wolverine, but they fucked that up. So logically, in my mind, Daredevil or Punisher would be the next, great step up.
And that's why it worked well with Batman, because Batman is a good counterbalance.
He's a good ground level. He has to put things together, much like Daredevil and Punisher would have to put things together. They got to solve this stuff. They have to figure out what is going on, who's skinning these bodies.
Yeah.
And my idea was like, Matt Murdock is thinking that there's a serial killer was on trial. He's escaped. His MO is butchering people, but he doesn't skin them. So naturally, they immediately look to this guy, the serial killer's escaped trial. He's the one doing it. No, he's not the one doing it.
Yeah.
And just kind of just people looking for this while the Predator's out skinning more and more bodies, going after more and more of this. And
let's make it happen. Yeah. Let's make it happen.
I'll call it. Hey, Kevin, draw this for me. I'll write it up. You draw it for me and
do it.
I ain't got the money. Dude, I just working on trying to finish up my latest He-Man commission. I ain't got the money to get him to draw like a full page, a full like Daredevil versus Punisher or Daredevil versus Predator comic. As much as I would love to see him do that, I'm glad Marvel hasn't done it, or hopefully they won't plan to do it because they'll just fuck it up, like they do everything else.
Yeah, that's
true.
True.
All these putzes are they're cheap with no ideas and. Just tone down the violence because we got to make Mickey Mouse happy too.
Yeah. Big mistake.
That's why people like us exist. We have all these great ideas, and we'll just keep it here.
And speaking of keeping it here, we're going to go ahead and bounce out on this episode. So I hope all of you enjoyed us finally covering a comic again after all of these months. Stay tuned for more. Maybe this is something we can do like how we've done original stories.
Maybe you and I, we could do a Predator versus Daredevil storyline, and just you and I
bounce off each other.
How we bring the Punisher in. Would any other heroes get involved? Would Luke Cage and Iron Fist be hired by somebody to investigate, I'm a criminal, but you know what? My buddy's just got skinned. I want to know what's going on. I don't want to go to the police because I don't want my criminal, or I don't know.
Anything.
Something to do, not make it a full, but it is a straight Daredevil story with all those kind of, little chess pieces being involved here.
Let's do it. We'll make that for a future episode. We'll and all kinds of other things. We got a list of all kinds of stuff we want to bring in the future. But we hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like it if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how awesome it was that I got Amazing Spider-Man number 50 and ruined Tyler's day. Let us know your thoughts on this comic and this Predator versus Daredevil idea. If you haven't done so, also subscribe. And until later, we'll catch you next issue.
I'm going to cut your heart out with a spoon.
I should know this.
Yeah, you should, because we've covered it. We've talked about it a lot.
And I'll just do what I always do and have a total brain fart.
All right, here's one. Why a spoon, cousin? Why not an axe? Because it's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more. Well.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, yeah.
I was like, it's not Ninja Turtles, is it?
Yeah. Batman 89.
Just somewhere. This one, Dick Tracy. Is this big boy set? Dick Tracy?
Yeah. Basketball.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what they say to Squeak.
Yeah. Oh man, baseball is another one I need to watch again. I watched that a couple years back, but that's another one to pop on to get the warm fuzzies. I think it's like Mallrats, 10 Things I Hate About You, basketball.
Clerks is another one that I'm like, because I was really big on just watching Clerks and Mallrats like a lot during that time period in high school. There was something very cozy about wanting to hang out in that convenience store and see all this crazy shit, and then going to the mall with Brody and TS and just hanging out with them, talking about comics. Like I was like, I want to do that. Yeah, personality wise, especially during that time, I'm more like Brody. Tyler's more like TS. Yeah, but I was more about reading and collecting comics. Even though Nathan had this whole legion of comics I had no idea about at the time, but Nathan was definitely more Brody personality wise, and I was definitely more the mopey TS. That you were. Thanks to everyone that joined us in the live chat. And I want to say this again too, when I'm like, oh, leave comments. Like, yeah, leave them, because now I'm starting to do the thing where I start to read most of that stuff on the following episode, whatever it may be. Even if it's something on an older thing and I see it, we'll backtrack and we'll read it and see where that takes us. Yeah, we love the comments, so please be engaging and let us know your thoughts, whether you like it or you hate it. Don't be afraid to share your thoughts. Yeah. So we'll see you next round. I would be happy and my curse would be lifted. You can go off and rule the universe from beyond the grave. Indeed.